Welcome back to the Paldea Pokemon Review. Today we're going to be talking about Kingambit. Now, Kingambit's been one of the most personally requested Pokemon, and it's definitely one of my favorite Pokemon to be brought into Scarlet and Violet, and it makes a lot of sense why so many people are just in love with this Pokemon right now. Now, just to go over the stats, we got some absolutely beefy stats here, with a 100 HP stat, 135 attack stat, 120 in defense. We don't care about its special attack, a decent 85 in special defense, and what on the surface looks to be a lackluster 50 in speed, but when we go over the moves you'll see why that honestly probably won't matter too much. Now, let's go over its two main abilities. So the first ability is called Supreme Overlord. Now, this ability is crazy. Now, the way that this ability works is that for every fainted Pokemon on your team, your attack stat will get an increase. Now, before the game dropped, we believed that it was going to be a stage per KO'd Pokemon, but obviously that definitely was not true, as that would be way too broken. And I also don't personally actually know the spread. I think they're still trying to figure out exactly what the increase per fainted Pokemon is. If in case they have figured out, you probably might be able to Google that now. They might have figured out what the increase per KO'd Pokemon is. As you can see though, this Pokemon is going to be a great reverse sweeper Pokemon, as the more KO'd Pokemon you have, he's only going to hit that much harder and be that much stronger. Now, its other ability definitely gets overshadowed, but it's the same ability that's the primary one Bisharp used to always run, and that's Defiant. Now, don't be fooled because everyone's going to run Supreme Overlord. This is also an incredible ability, and honestly, definitely depending on how the meta shifts, an incredible ability to mix up other people's teams and still get the same benefits. Now, the way Defiant works is that if any of your stats drop, you get a +2 to your attack. So this is an incredible ability though, because a lot of times, especially then, people are going to see a Kingambit, think you're going to have Supreme Overlord, they're going to try to bring in someone with maybe Intimidate or something to lower that attack and drop it down a stage. When with Defiant, when your attack gets dropped by that one stage, you then actually get +2, bringing you back to a total of +1 in attack, which gives you a 50% increase to your damage. So even though Supreme Overlord might be the more common ability and definitely used, Defiant I think is going to have incredible mix-up options against other teams that are going to bring Intimidators and stuff to try to shut down Kingambit, but if anything, they're only going to then make you that much stronger by using their ability against you. Now let's go over some of its moves. So as I said, its speed is definitely on the slower side, but the real ticket here is with a beefy attack stat like Kingambit has, it gets an incredible stab move of Sucker Punch. For those who don't know, this is a priority base 80 move that only works when the opponent is trying to attack you. But again, the fact that this is base 80 and it has priority means that you don't have to worry about your speed, as you're going to just out-prioritize the opponent and hit them first regardless, unless they also use a priority move. Now, another good coverage move it gets is Iron Head, obviously great for, taking care of fairy types, rock types, etc. As most Kingambits will probably run, is also then just going to be Swords Dance. As if you switch in Kingambit and your opponent has to switch out and they even give you the opportunity to get a free 2x attack boost, the battle might just be over there. Between Sucker Punch and all of its other moves, you might just be able to go straight through your opponent and have nothing to worry about. Now, it does get some other coverage moves like Zen Headbutt, Shadow Claw, and Stone Edge, but other than that, it really doesn't have anything too crazy for coverage. Now, wrap it up even, what do you do with this thing's EV investment? And honestly, that's hard to say, as I've seen so many different EV spreads on this Pokemon, and I can't seem to get a consensus. Obviously, some people might even just run, even with its lackluster speed, still just might run the usual 252 attack and speed, just really try to go offensive with it, do some crazy damage. I've seen some bulky Kingambit that have been running full defensive investment with 252 HP, 252 defense, just to especially be cautious of potential fighting types with Mach Punch or something like that. And knowing either with Supreme Overlord and then Swords Dance that the multiplier you'll get on your attack is going to be increased anyway, that you won't have to worry about investing into attack, and then Sucker Punch will outspeed your opponent and KO them. So what you want to do with Kingambit is definitely up to you, and it might just be more balanced around what your team actually has and what things it needs to cover. I've also seen some people even then just run two, same thing, but just HP and special defense, as its natural attack and defense is again already so high that with either Supreme Overlord, a Defiant boost, or even Swords Dance, that you're not going to need much investment at all to still have that incredible damage output. Now, one thing I almost forgot to mention though, is that Kingambit gets its own signature move called Kowtow Cleave. Now, this move isn't really anything too crazy, as it's just a simple Dark-type base 85 move, but this move does not have the ability to miss. So now, normally on Smogon, most evasion stuff is banned, but, in VGC or something like that, where there could be, weather with different abilities like Sand Veil and Snow Cloak that are going to boost a Pokemon's evasion, having a move that can guaranteed hit is definitely going to be very effective. That's going to be all for this one. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. 95% of people currently are subscribed, and I got plenty more content coming out like this. The most requested Pokemon so far have been Clodsire, Bellibolt, and the 4 new legendaries. I'm going to make sure these are the 6 next guides that I'll be dropping. And I actually just put out a community post trying to start gathering some ideas and strategies for the new 7-star Charizard raid that's going to come out on Thursday. I already dropped what my current active strategy is, but depending on what other people say, I want to try to gather as big of a group of strategies as possible, because right now we can only guesstimate what this Charizard has, but come the day of, it might be ridiculous. And on top of that, this weekend they actually have some special Eevee Terror raids that you definitely want to make sure you check out, as the Eevees are super easy to beat, and even the 5-star ones then will give you incredible amount of large and XL candies. That's going to be all for this one. I'll catch you in the next video.